then you're submitting yourself unto the wisdom of the serpent. Then that wisdom is going to take your members captive and enslave you to the life it can produce,
Yes.
which is death.
Yes.
And so it will result in all manner of sins, works of the flesh, hatred, murder, envy, gossiping, backbiting, all the sorts that Paul listed. And so if humans don't, we like to think that these people want it to do bad to us.
Right.
If they want it to do bad, they would never feel ashamed,
True.
nor would their conscience ever condemn them
True.
for doing it.
Right.
Does everybody agree with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so we like our serial killers now, but let's look at Herod. Herod killed millions of babies.
Yeah.
So based on our theology and the wisdom in the world, Herod don't have a conscience, and Herod enjoyed all that deep down in his heart. I'm not talking about what it looked like. I'm talking about deep down in that guy's heart when he's alone. You think the serpent ain't coming and accusing him?
Oh yeah.
Tormenting him.
Oh yeah.
Now, if Herod didn't feel ashamed for what he did, if deep down in his heart that wasn't contrary to who he was, really, then why was he filled with fear when the angel showed up in the room?
Yes.
Why wasn't he just like, well, all that stuff was as it ought to be? He wasn't rejoicing in all his murderous action when the glory of God stood in the room. He was filled with fear. Well, why would you be filled with fear if you thought all your works were as they ought to be? It clearly demonstrates that he believed there was something wrong with what he had been doing. Otherwise, he would have felt great confidence when the angel showed up. He would have thought the angel was showing up to now deify him further. But he did not think the angel was showing up to deify him further. He was filled with fear. Why was he filled with fear? Because his conscience was condemning him for all the heinous actions that had come out of him.
Yes.
His conscience was condemning him. Ananias and Sapphira,
Yeah.
they were not saved. They had what we would call a wicked heart. That means they don't care if they do bad, right? A wicked heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means they want to do bad. They just love it, right? Then why did Ananias and Sapphira be filled with fear and then fall down dead?
Their conscience.
Their conscience condemned them for what they did.
Yes.
Now, how could their conscience condemn them?
Yeah.
Because they knew in their heart that wasn't the life of God.
Right.
They knew in their heart. They just didn't desire in their heart to do that, but they felt something that had taken their members captive and made them hold back the property. We could just say they're worried that they didn't have enough money to survive. And so they didn't feel free to give up because they were finding their life or the report of their life in mammon. They were seeking mammon to give them life instead of God. And so when this word come that we're all just going to sell all of our stuff and throw it in a pot and all live together, their hearts were filled with fear at that thought because they'd been worshiping mammon.
Sure.
And so then that mammon they'd been worshiping took their members captive and made them hold back a piece of their property. But they clearly knew that that wasn't as it ought to be. It clearly contradicted what they actually desired to do in their heart, but they didn't find ability to do because when they were confronted with it, their conscience condemned them so much that they died.
The whole thing.